Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Today we have Ionut Stanimir with us, who is going to read the interesting lecture, workshop actually, on pitching and how to pitch your ideas. I'm sure you saw the description that we posted beforehand. So today, hopefully we will learn something that will be helpful tomorrow during your business case preparation and then during your presentations. So I hope that you enjoy this lecture. If you have any questions regarding what's being said, please type them in the chat and we will be sure to answer those later on. So I give the floor to you and you're welcome to start. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, Tatiana, and hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me well or you can see me well. If there is anything which goes technically not right, please write in the chat and either myself or Tatiana can do something to fix. So a couple of words about myself. I'm a 20-year experienced professional in marketing and communication. I was a fan of the economics Olympiad, also because the Romanian team invited us to train them, to explain them a couple of things, and share a bit of insights. What kind of insights? The kind of insights which we also deliver to startups which are part of the business accelerator, which the bank I work for is a sponsor of. It's called InnovX BCR Accelerator. It's a project which we run for the last 5 years. So assuming that that's a short intro, I would go directly into the topic with the number one secret which you have to master about your presentation. And that number one secret is be memorable. I would ask you again to always verify your presentations with a very objective eye. Ask a friend, ask a parent, ask somebody else. Is it memorable? What did you remember about this presentation? And that very, very honest answer is something which should guide your entire presentation. Because at the end of the day, of course, even when I do presentations, even when a startup does presentations, of course, they worry how is the sound, what do people think, and so on and so forth. But the only real question and the only thing you should actually care about, and it should guide your presentation, is what makes your presentation memorable. It sounds a bit unfair for the amount of work which goes into the presentation, and probably it is, but it's the number one rule of any pitch and of any presentation. The number two rule is make your point about what makes your presentation memorable at least 3 times. You have to say it in the beginning. You have to come back to it when you argument your business case, and you have to come back also at the end when you draw the conclusions. If you say it once, if you say it just once, maybe some people will get it, maybe some people will not get it, maybe some people will have their attention up at that point, maybe some people will not. So that's the number 2 rule of any successful presentation. First of all, identify very clearly what will make it memorable. Second of all, repeat that key point, key advantage of what makes it memorable at least 3 times. Once in the beginning, twice when you go through the solution, insist a lot. Why is this so special? And thirdly, don't forget, when you draw the conclusions at the end, to repeat again what you think is the most important, the most memorable, the key point of your presentation. And of course, the third rule is always be confident. I mean, it's nothing which you didn't hear before, but I can tell you that in this kind of presentations, the most important outcome is that you learn something. The most important outcome, maybe sometimes somebody would say is the prize, or maybe is the performance, or maybe is I don't know what. But I can tell you that if you take a step back and realize that each opportunity that you have is an opportunity to learn something, then this third insight into a successful presentation also helps that your presentation runs smooth, because there will be moments, there will be times when somebody looking at your pitch or at your presentation will either shake their head like this, or they are going to say, I'm not that convinced. And that really is just a pretext. It's just an opportunity to ask, okay, but how do you feel? What do you feel? What would you say if? Tell me what preoccupies you, or is it something that we can clarify better? So at the end of the day, make it memorable, repeat it at least 3 times, and then don't forget that any presentation, any interaction is an opportunity to learn and to further improve that presentation. So if somebody would have asked me, can you please hold this type of workshop or training in about 5 minutes, I probably what I would have said. But of course, running a pitch or running a presentation, and especially the ones that we do here in the InnovX BCR Accelerator, do have also other tips and tricks. And I will slowly go through the presentation that we usually hold for startups, and then of course you can see a couple of aspects, a couple of points of how to run exactly a presentation of a business case. So I'm assuming that your business case presentation will be very, very similar to a startup pitch. If that assumption is wrong, then try to find an angle where what I present here is useful to you. But I think it will be useful, and let's go a bit through the presentation. Hopefully this works. I told you about myself. This is my younger self. This is me now. Like at the end of the day, we all grow and learn. So that also happened to me. Don't assume I have not been into your kind of situation. Actually, one such presentation actually got my first job in a consultancy, and I learned that doing at least a presentation that has some memorable stuff in it can always open a couple of opportunities. So let's go into the content of it. At the end of the day, a good pitch, a good presentation should be efficient, no matter the stakeholder. But of course, as I was telling you earlier, please keep your eyes and ears open on what is the environment, what is the feedback, what is the context, because it matters quite a lot how people see and understand what you present. And now maybe I would call it an insight. If I would be a member in the jury, which unfortunately I can't this very weekend when you present, but if I would be a member in the jury of the Olympiad, there would be a couple of things which would be very, very interesting to me to see, and I would spell it out. First of all, I would like to see really out of the box thinking. So in the business case, the first thing which I would like to see is really a solution which is very, very different from what I see in the market, and that is something which you should remember, because at the end of the day, as I was telling you earlier, you have to be memorable, and remember the fact that your jury expects to see something inspiring. So do push a bit that pedal of inspiration. Do also push the pedal of out of the box thinking. And I think that's a very good premise to make a lasting impression on the jury. So, of course, you have to work on your business case, but I would say push the pedal as much as you can on the out of the box thinking, because that's what people would like or expect to see from young business minds, inspiration, which they don't usually see every day at work. Every day at work, I see PowerPoints, I see endless chains of emails, endless chain of meetings. So once in a while, I would really get to, like to get this opportunity to see an inspiring presentation or an inspiring pitch done by young business minds, as I was telling you. Now, a pitch is about the story and of course about how you present it. There's normally an ideal pitch deck structure which I would go through, and would look also at some key points which are very relevant, or at least what I would say would qualify for me as key points or attention triggers, or make me wanna find out more. So let's start with the introduction. What do you do in the introduction? Well, in the introduction, of course, you start by saying who you are, right? And what I would say is very nice to have in such an introduction is what exactly is the connection between yourself, between your team, and the business case. So I would say something which I would definitely recommend: make a personal introduction about who you are and how personal the business case is to you. It's a sign of commitment. It's a sign that you understood very well, that you present not only from a professional angle or from a very well-educated angle, but you also present from a personal angle. So commitment and passion into approaching the business case is always a very big plus. Of course, and after that introduction, you of course go into the challenge, into the problem, right? So when you present the challenge of the problem, there are maybe two very strong points which can also signal how relevant the issue or the challenge or the problem is. One is give a big number. Really, give a big number. Search for a big number to identify how big the problem is, or two, use a personal story or a persona. Here is Mary. Mary would like to travel to work by sustainable means, but she's unhappy that she has to, I don't know, take a bus which still runs on diesel. And I think that was a case of last year's Olympiad. But let's go a bit deeper into Mary's persona. Why is she so impacted by the fact that she has to go using a diesel machine, a diesel automobile to work? Well, because Mary is just a fresh mother, and Mary understands that the kind of planet which she allows to basically happen in terms of environment standards will be the planet for her daughter. So again, either you give there a big number, or you make a very compelling persona case. It always helps to anchor the problem so much. Okay, and then you would go into the solution, into the conceptual solution. And here I'm coming back to something which I said earlier. I think this is the moment where you would say, well, we have thought of a lot of potential solutions or approaches, but we think what we would like to stress is this. And then goes the very memorable thing, which you would like to point all throughout the presentation. What makes your solution so different, so exceptional in terms of approach, so exceptional in terms of insights, or so very different from what is already on the market? Because of course you would have to speak about what is currently in the market, and that gets me to the market chapter. Once you go to the solution and explain what makes it so special about your approach, you would say, of course, the market. How is the market? What are the trends in the market? What do people expect in the market? A good insight, again, make it personal with a persona, or with a testimonial, or with a, I would say, a life situation, or make it as explicit as possible to talk about the market situation or about the trends in a way that really shows the fact that you understood or had a very, very deep look on what is the actual situation, what is the actual behavior, what are people actually doing in terms of using that product or service. If I would be in the jury, I would again interpret that as a very, very thorough or a very, very serious or a very, very diligent effort, and I would definitely give or award points for that. So when you speak about the market, about the real behaviors, about the real examples there, of course, you will also have to speak about the competition. I like very much when somebody speaks of competition. I don't like it very much when people speak about the competition in terms of, oh, the competition is definitely lacking everything which we propose here. We are the best, and frankly, we don't even understand why this competition is in the market. To me, that doesn't sound very real. It sounds more like bragging, or anyway, I would much more appreciate a very objective and very appreciative view of the competition. We had a look at the competition. This is what we definitely like about what they have. We thought about that, and we thought, how can we really get better? And this is the solution that we propose. So always, again, when you talk about the market, go for the real case, go for the real behavior, go for the real competition, say what you like about that, try to be very, very appreciative, try to, impress the jury with the fact that you have a very mature and very objective view. And with that mature and objective view, you still would like to, talk about the fact that your solution goes above and beyond, and that makes part again of that advice of which I gave you in the beginning. Make it very, very clear about what is the very memorable, the very special, the very different thing about your solution. Okay, then only then you would go into the issues of product and financials, which in my opinion have to be clear, and I would ask of you to think of very, very clean slides. So don't try to put everything there into the technical details. Don't try to amass a very big amount of figures and graphs. Try, if you have 3 slides, use those 3 slides, make it very clean, make it very, to the point. Try to eliminate stuff from the slide, not to crowd everything on that slide. So I would say clarity here is something which you would go after. In terms of and that goes especially for the technical details of the solution. In terms of financials, of course, I would say you would ideally show a very, very clear view of the market which your solution addresses, meaning describing the customers, describing the revenue model from the payment of those customers, and something which very, very often I don't find, even in more advanced presentation of startups, is how exactly does the product or service reach those customers. I understand that, okay, there might be all the students between 22 and 25 years, which are after a mentorship model available through an app. But I would really like to hear in that example, how exactly is that app being delivered, being downloaded, being installed by such clients? Where do they find it? What is the message to promote it? What makes it so special? Okay, so I would say when looking at the financials, I would advise you to describe the targeted customers, the type of revenue and sales model, and especially the distribution model. If you want to go deeper, and if you have that kind of training, ideally you would also have a projection about how that service is going to be available, made available to your customers over a longer period of time. So, okay, we or your client will buy it once, will buy it twice, will buy it 10 times. How many times during 1 year? How many times during, I don't know, if we're talking about a bus, which a city municipality would buy, how many times during the tenure of the bus would you be able to sell a service associated to that item, or how many times in 50 years that would be sold. Okay, so by now you would have covered a lot of the basics of the presentation. You would have talked about the insights. You would have talked about the problem. You would have talked about the market, the product, and financials. And I would say now would be the ideal time to speak again about what makes it very, very memorable. And I would advise you to do that by talking about a future vision. So you describe a problem, you describe a solution, you describe the market, the insights, the product, and the financial, and then you push the envelope even further, and you push your innovation positioning even further, and you go like this. Okay, and this is what we would have in a time span of 2 or 3 or 5 years, which is already a longer time span. But go with something which pushes your differentiation even further, and say, and we think in 7 years or in 10 years, this is the kind of product innovation which this model can sustain. And this is what would again make it so special and would kick another innovation cycle for the type of product that we have. So again, once it's in the beginning, you go about what makes it so personal, why you are so committed of finding something out of the box. Then you have again an opportunity when you speak about the problem to tell, okay, and we had a look at the competition and we thought of making something very different, and you push that message, what makes it so different. And now again, it's a model of or it's a moment when talking about a future vision, that you would again speak and position your imagined product, service, and the business case as a visionary, innovative, and continuously improving type of product. Something which makes it very, very nice, which ideally supports what you have included there, is a testimonial. Try to, if you don't have a real testimonial, because most of the times you imagine a product or a service, imagine a type of testimonial which you would like to see from a key customer. So illustrate it in terms of usability, of user experience. Try to imagine again your customer persona giving you feedback of how the product has worked for you. Okay, and now I would say this is the time of getting towards the closing of your presentation. Ideally, now you speak again about the members of the team, about the founders, so to say, of your product. I would say again, this is the opportunity to speak about why is this so personal to you? What makes it so important that your commitment to this kind of product, service, business case is so important and so valuable into the jury's criteria. Okay, and of course, at the end, don't forget, never forget to again mention the fact why what you have presented is so out of the box, what makes it memorable. Push your key advantage there. Now, I would say this kind of wraps up a model of a presentation. I repeated a lot of times the fact that you have to be memorable. Don't fret over that, because really, when you're in such a type of pitch, it very much resembles a sort of public pitch which a startup has to do. And the purpose of a public pitch is most of the times to get the audience and the partner curious, like, okay, I want to hear more, I want to learn more, tell me, what is this and what is that, and the idea, how you dress your presentation, how you dress up your presentation becomes equally valuable and important as the numbers and the facts. And I would say that makes it a kind of a short introduction on the way to pitch a product or a service. Maybe a couple of other tips and tricks. Don't forget to anticipate the question that you would get, because let's assume you have done a great presentation, a very inspiring presentation, but of course there will be members of the jury which will have a couple of questions on details. Try to anticipate those questions. Put down a couple of, I don't know, 5 to 7 questions which you would ask a competitor presenting you the same presentation. Note them down. Note the answer as what would you answer to that, and that will help you very much. Preparing for such questions also shows committed work, seriousness. So again, points which you can score there. Then, of course, when delivering the answers to the questions or to the curiosities or even the key messages, imagine the following fact. You have worked on the business case, or have prepared the business case for a number of hours, or maybe a day or two. Imagine that who asks the questions, or whoever sees the presentation, has to get it really in the first 10 seconds. So keep it simple, deliver the essential when you answer, and even when you draw your slides, be super diligent that it's very obvious from the title or from the key image that you put there on the slide, what is your slide about, what is the message about. Generally, 8 seconds is already a cut-off time for the attention span of people today. So again, I would say that's actually an advantage, because it forces you to cut to the essential of the matter, and that of course helps the clarity. So at the end of the day, I would again repeat: add the passion, add the energy, believe in yourself. It's really an opportunity to learn and to get feedback and to improve. And no presentation is neither the beginning nor the end of the world. The most important thing again is be memorable. Believe and make it personal. Believe in yourself, and try to interpret any presentation, any such situation, now or whenever you would be, as an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to exchange and to network. So I would say that's basically the core essence of my presentation today. Of course, there are a couple of things which you would maybe want to hear. Try not to clutter or to use too many slides. Try again to stay focused, and I would say don't try to make everybody happy, because never ever in your life, in your jobs, in wherever you are, there's not going to be any perfect pitch. There is only going to be a perfect opportunity to learn, to network, and to imagine fantastic stuff. So I would say that's in a nutshell what I wanted to tell you about. I hope that my key message, that is being memorable at any cost, did reach you. And now maybe if there are questions very specific, either on the introductions, on the content, on the product market slides, I would be happy to take them. Maybe Tatiana can help me, or yeah, just ask the questions.
So Eric has a question, and I think I allowed. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
All right. First of all, thank you for coming here and sharing us your amazing insights. I think we truly learned a lot. My first question is, you talked about the benefits of an innovative solution, which I really agree on. However, one problem I have troubling me about innovative ideas is how can we prove their practicality, especially if they have not been done before by other companies? So that means we can't use any empirical examples to support our analysis.
All right. So yeah, go on.
Oh, sorry, that's it. Sorry.
All right, good. So a very good question, and the question is, what would you like to aim first? Do you aim for inspiring the jury? Do you aim for making them remember you? Or do you aim for a very super precise business case? My honest advice is always try to be the memorable team. That is one thing. The other part of your question, of course, is not trivial. When you speak about innovation, you have multiple models of innovation. The one which I would use in terms of argumenting the feasibility of your solution is taking bits and pieces from similar markets or similar type of products or similar type of processes, not necessarily applied to your business case, but at least to show the fact that you did consider the matter of how is this going to be possible. Maybe you will not have all the details, but most of the details, imagining that you will not give a solution of a fire spitting dragon, which is absolutely a fairy tale, but imagining that you will refer to something which you have a pretty clear idea that, one, it exists, two, it can be employable, and three, at least part of it has been tried out somewhere else. So I would say that's a very good or can be a very good balance. Don't be afraid to stand out. At the same time, you have to do your homework, and there are multiple comparison or solutions which you can compare, parts, bits and pieces, partial models which you can employ there. So yeah, this is what I would appreciate a lot. If I would be in the jury, this is what I would appreciate. I would appreciate an innovative solution and somebody who did their homework into searching at least similar models.
All right, we have one more question. Thank you for answering. Yeah. And then we have a question from Andrea. When considering the analysis of our proposed solution, should we attempt generating ideas that are mostly beneficial to the business, or should we also place a heavy emphasis on the customer base of the business? All
right, fantastic. This is a question which we have every day in the bank which I work for. Normally, the process goes from the assets of the company. Like in the real life, it always goes like this. We have these assets. How can we make them work in an efficient and profitable manner? Now, if that's the only angle which you treat your assets with, like, it's the very wrong angle, because at the end of the day, there is absolutely no business model where a customer is not happy with your product or service, but still continues to use it. And I would even argument the fact that maybe it was possible when internet did not exist, but everybody now is like literally 30 minutes away from contracting a totally different solution, which they have available online. So I would say the number one priority is always how competitive to the customer you will be. Now, of course, there are many models of achieving that. There is one model where you would say, we enter the market at a discount price with the strategy to gather as many customers as possible, and within a time frame of, I don't know, 5 years or 10 years, we will gather so many customers to which we are going to achieve this amount of cross-sell, which will at the end make the business case and the business itself profitable. But that always comes from the customer view. When you say, well, we know what the customers like, but we can't deliver at an efficient capital rate, it means you have to think of another solution. Mediocre solutions which allow the capital base or the asset base to be employed in an efficient manner are usually the ones, the type of businesses which die out first. So that's, and I'm talking very, very seriously. At the end of the day, remember, everybody is 30 minutes away from being replaced with a better or more efficient solution. Or maybe somebody who wants to sell at a discount because they think they can amass enough customers for them to be profitable later. So try to think it also. Try to think like a competitor. What would you do to a mediocre, underperforming business? You would eat them alive. What would you do?
Okay. Yeah, that's a valuable advice. We have one more question relating to that. What is the difference between a product market and the customers themselves? How can we define it?
May I hear again the question?
Yeah, what is the difference between a product market and the customers?
All right, good. Customers refers to the insights and behaviors of the customers in the market, yeah, and these are changing all the times. Some people sometimes prefer blue cars, and sometimes people, prefer electric cars, and this is stuff which is changing, and you have to follow that. Now, the market itself refers to a lot of other aspects. What competitors are in the market? How do they deliver the product? Where is the market going in terms of regulation and in terms of resource, or stuff like people would like to buy more electric cars, but there is not enough battery in the market. So that's a problem of the market, where you would have to think, can we deliver in a sustainable way what we say we want to deliver? Customer needs, customer psychology, customer behaviors is part of what we would define the market. Competition, resources, trends, regulatory matters. These are part of the market at large, which I would say are very important factors to consider when you say, I would like to build my business in this way, let's say in a purely digital model. Well, purely digital model sometimes can be beaten by a mobility model, and that's a market issue. Somebody comes and say, okay, I understand. There is, let me give you this example. There is a type of marketplace, a grocery marketplace, which tries to sell everything online. Fantastic. A retailer, an outlet-based retailer can say, okay, I cannot beat them online. They are way ahead of me. This is a type of market where the winner takes all. So I'm going to run a sort of mobility proximity model. Small vans which go with specific items in specific days, and so on and so forth. So that's what I would say is the difference. And again, always try to think okay, what would be innovative from a point of view of a customer behavior? Can I change their behavior? Can I expect that their behavior changes with my solution? And on the other side, what would be the most unexpected or disruptive change which I would do in terms of resources, distribution models, or even partnerships? Again, this is something which I favor a lot, even when we discuss here in the team various strategies. Some things you will not do alone. You will do in a type of win-win partnership with maybe unexpected partners. For example, just for you to get an idea, we are a bank. We normally sell current accounts and loans and so on, but we're thinking of partnership with a job platform in order to have a win-win. Somebody who searches for a job immediately gets a financial solution. Somebody who has a financial solution has the opportunity to search for a job from our app. And that's something which I would say can be innovative, yeah. And if you hate it, please write to me. Ionut, this is the most stupid idea which I ever heard. Please don't do it.
Yeah, I think we won't for now. They'll have to test it out, and only then, in maybe 10 years or so, share their opinions. But that's nice. Let me ask a question very quickly about the business presentations, and then we'll go back to the world of business. So they ask, what are some key aspects that you would recommend to focus on to really convey the jury that you're professional, like a sense of professionality?
All right, fantastic. So I would say number one, a thorough review of where the market and the competition is. When you understand what is already in the market, it has a very, very good chance that it builds a thorough understanding of what you are after. Secondly, I would say, or at least this is what I would note down with a 5-star out of 5, understand very well what is the customer behavior. I can imagine a lot of things, but if I have no idea about what is the real behavior of the customer, I might, very well dream dreams, right? And thirdly, yes, I would like to see the economics of each delivery model. Is it something which makes money now? It makes money in 2 years, in 3 years, or in 10 years. I don't have an issue with strategies which allow for rapid market share acquiring or market expansion, but I would like to see, if it doesn't make money now, how does it make money in 5 or 10 years? So understand the competition, understand the customer, understand how the revenue model works in short term, mid-term, long term. That's my 3 criteria. If that's okay with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this advice. Another question actually relating to that in a way is that the presentation seems to be focused on the goods and services available in the market already and quite visible in short run. What about the ideas for services like Hyperloop? How can we expect the market sizes and targeted groups for such services?
All right. Well, that's how should I approach that? Because essentially that's a question on the future. I tell you what. I would say that in scenarios which evaluate very far away innovation or market disruption, first of all, you would think of who exactly, what kind of entity or where and for what specific reason would they support that kind of R&D sort of behavior, right? So this is again, we're talking, if I would be a member of the jury, I would like to understand who exactly, for what reason, and under what circumstances sustains the investments into a hyperloop or into I don't know, cancer treating revolutionary approach. So that's the first thing which I would look at. The second thing which I would look at is to understand exactly what kind of market do I address and how much would I be able to grab from it. And that doesn't really, it's not really influenced by the fact that the product is nowhere near existence, because you still have to have a business plan. We work on a cancer treating pill, which will be delivered to 1 million customers all across the globe. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the product is still in R&D or imaginative or concept stage. You would still have to say, and we would address 1% of the market. And thirdly, I would say that you would have again to consider various revenue models. One is business to customers. The other one is licensing the R&D, right? Or imagining what would be other types of revenues, like consulting on that matter. So I would say these are three possible approaches, but of course, like, nobody has a crystal ball to imagine everything about everybody regarding a product or a service that doesn't exist. But I would say there are a couple of angles to look at.
Yeah, pretty reasonable. Thank you. And I think the last question that we got was from Eric. I think Eric can ask them aloud.
All right, thank you. Yeah, sorry for the second question. I'm just wondering, out of all of the analyses and models that you can use out there, can you tell us some of the ones that have been the most effective from your experience of evaluating startup presentations?
Okay. Well, this is a practical and an ideological question, and I will explain why. The practicality of it is given by the fact that a lot of startups nowadays are subject of the transition from a valuation model to a cash flow and revenue model. So if you would ask me in very practical terms, I would say it matters a lot today whether a startup can generate revenue in a very short or mid-term. And that's one aspect. That's the practical aspect. The ideological aspect, as strange as it might sound, is the following. You can never do technological revolutions. You can never finance technological revolutions by watching your rear view mirror. So if you would say, okay, there's going to be a significant disruption into cement fabrication, which, by the way, is happening as we speak right now, then you would rather look at the discounted cash flow model in order to still account for the fact that there is going to be significant market transformation, meaning, yes, a revolutionary technology would presumably and reasonably command a bigger share of the market today, and this is how the financials of it would look like. So there were two questions there, or at least this is what I understood, what I liked to understand, how to evaluate a startup, and what would you say about a business model which are very, very innovative. I would like the startup to show a revenue generation at least on a midterm, and I would say it's pretty reasonable to employ discounted cash flow if you look at significant innovative solutions, especially those kind which are applicable to mass market sectors like cement.
All right, thank you so much. I think there is one more question from Eric, right?
Oh, hello. Yeah, sorry for the sheer amounts of questions. I just got really inspired by your presentation. Yeah. So this is not a concept of business case, but rather a new startup, right? So for a new startup, would you recommend bringing in a prototype or creating one and bringing it in to the presentation, whether that's your investor or venture capital? And if so, where would you recommend showing off the prototype to be? Like, would it be at the start, or would it be during the product section when you're explaining the features, or would it be at the end?
Eric, this might surprise you, but I would say if this is the first meeting where you ever encounter your partner, don't risk showing something which you don't know any feedback on yet. So my answer would be no. I don't know if you like it or not, but somehow, or at least what I would try to do is get as much intermediary feedback as possible.
Got it. So just do some market surveys and research before you bring it into the
Yeah,
investor,
or
right?
a sort of proxy feedback. Yeah, look for people which are similar to the ones that you are going to meet. Show them that, and you get the benefit of a proxy type of feedback opinion, but you don't risk everything with somebody which you say, oh, this is a key stakeholder. I wouldn't like to blow my chances from the very first meeting without actually knowing at least a bit their expectation. That's my aim.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for these answers. I think they help a lot, definitely. All right, so anything else? Any more questions to follow, or have we managed to answer everything?
I have another one.
Okay, go
Sorry
ahead,
for taking the time. Yeah.
please.
So my last question is about asking for investments. So let's say you have a really good presentation, right? But where should you ask for investments? Is it at the start, so you can maybe include in your timeline, like, okay, this like $5,000 investment is going to go to develop this feature, or would you put it at the end after making sure that the investor is really inspired and buys in your idea?
Okay, so the answer is definitely at the beginning and definitely at the end. You want to make it very clear since the beginning, what are you doing there? Why are you presenting? Why are you there? And then ideally, the presentation is so inspiring that at the end, you would even say to the investor, and look, it's only $5,000 that you have the opportunity to jump into this fantastic opportunity. But be very clear since the beginning. You will get much better questions throughout the presentation.
Got it. Thank you.
Well, I guess then this is it. Thank you so much for joining us for this lecture, and thank you for this incredible presentation. I think it was really entertaining at the same time as very informative. So,
all right.
Yeah,
It
thank
was
you
my
so
pleasure, and really, I wish best of luck to everybody. Don't forget, be memorable, be personal, and try to learn something, irrespective if you get the big prize or the small prize or no prize at all. In learning, there is always a prize.
wonderful words. Well, thank you so much for coming today, and we wish you the best evening or another time of the day, depending on where you're at. So the recording will be available on our YouTube channel, and we will send everything in chats, of course. So thank you again for this marvelous presentation.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.